Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is March the 24th, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Monday. Happy Garfield Day. Hopefully, you got a big piece of that lasagna today. As for me, I would say I did. I got my little slice. It's good. It's yummy. Work was work. Nothing too crazy. Nothing to, phone home about, but a nice mix of, once again, slow, then into some steady, work. And, that was more or less the day. It was a good vibe. It was solid. Post work, we went to the gym. It's Monday, so it's packed. It's ass to elbow with people. I will say I was able to get through all of my equipment that I wanted to get through, so that was nice. I did have to kind of audible a little bit, like say, okay, well, I can't hit this machine or that machine because they're busy. I can't get to them right now, but I can do like a cable equivalent, which I feel like I've made my opinions on cables, known. I'm not anti-cable. It's just not something I prefer, but I have dabbled a little bit more over the past month or so. So I'm closer to comfortable. So that's nice. It feels good to kind of try a little bit of something new, a little bit different version of the same thing, more or less. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I can handle this. This is good. No worries. So yeah, it was nice to not get stopped by that. And we just overall had a smooth workout despite the traffic. And then post that, we're here. We're home. We are podcasting. So yeah, so overall, good day. I love that. Hopefully you've had a good day yourself, my dear listener. But yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup and get into some news. How's that sound? Hopefully good. Oh, yeah. I do say that's the ticket. Oh, jolly good. Okay, I'm done with the accents. Anyway, from NBC News. Man, 3 teens arrested in New Mexico shooting that killed 3 and injured 15. A 15-year-old boy became the fourth suspect arrested in connection with a shooting that killed 3 people and injured 15 at an unsanctioned car show at a New Mexico park Friday night. 3 others arrested in the shooting at Las Cruces are 2 17-year-old boys and Thomas Rivas, 20, La Cruz's police said. All 4 have been charged with 3 counts of murder, and additional charges are pending. The 15-year-old was arrested shortly after noon Sunday. In an update, police said in an update, while Rivas and one of the 17-year-olds were arrested Saturday night, and the other teen was arrested Sunday morning. Let's see. 3 juveniles are incarcerated in the juvenile section of the Donna Ana County Detention Center, the police department said. Rivas is on the adult side and is initially being held without bond. I imagine that they haven't released the names of the kids, or the news outlet here, NBC, just doesn't mention it because they are kids, which I get, completely understand. Police identified the 3 people killed in the shooting: Andrew Madrid, 16, Jason Gomez, 18, and Dominic Estrada, 19. Madrid and Gomez died on the scene, and Estrada died after he was taken to a medical center. Now, we still don't know any of the causes of the altercation, what sparked this, but they did say that they found up to like 50 to 60 like bullet casings. So I mean, things just got really kinetic, really fast, and a lot of people got hurt, and 3 people were killed. It's really sad. And I think there was another shooting that took place in Texas. I'm kind of just pulling this off the hip here. But it was all injuries, I believe, but some were critically wounded in that situation. I want to say, I'm throwing the number out here. I might be getting this wrong, 6. But, obviously unfortunate. I've said this before. Even if I'm not covering shootings like I used to at the same like volume, because I don't see them as often, or I just don't get the chance to cover them sometimes when I see them due to whatever I have stacked up for news, That doesn't mean they're not happening, especially in America. It's just a shame that with the changing of times, like it's just such a backseat thing that unless it's something really big news wise, it just doesn't make the surface. But it's still happening in this country for sure. But yeah, let's move on. Move along. This is a story I kind of wish I'd covered sooner, but luckily sometimes it's a better late than never. From the BBC. Earrings worth $769,500 recovered by Florida police after alleged thief swallows them. Talk about a breakfast at Tiffany's. Orlando police have recovered 2 sets of earrings worth a combined $769,500 after an alleged thief swallowed them more than 2 weeks ago. Jason Glider, 32, swallowed the Tiffany & Company's diamond earrings around the time he was taken into custody on February 26th, police said. Mr. Glider was monitored by detectives at an Orlando hospital for more than a dozen days before the earrings were expelled from his system, according to the Orlando Police Department. Mr. Glider faces charges of robbery with a mask and grand theft in the first degree. Tiffany has since cleaned the earrings. So I'm pausing here because this is a burning question for me since I initially heard the story. Are they gonna resell them? Like, would you want some doo-doo ass earrings? And like, my thing is, if you are gonna resell them as a company, you have to tell the buyer, right? Like, hey, these went through someone's poop chute, right? Like, hey, perfectly good diamonds, they're still good at a discounted price, mind you, right? You have to add that. Like, if you're selling these things wholesale, no way, no how. That's gonna be a no from me. Give me the undoodufied earrings, please, for my wife. My wife, like, come on. That's crazy if they are just putting these back on the market like that, like just normal. Police alleged Mr. Glider posed as an assistant to an NBA player, so he could be shown very high-end jewelry in a VIP room at Tiffany & Company store in Orlando, Florida, on February 26th. Excuse me. Mr. Glider allegedly distracted store employees, then ran from the store with 2 pairs of earrings. The suspect apparently also dropped a diamond ring valued at $587,000 as he fled the store. When officers caught up with him later that day, they saw Mr. Glider swallowing several objects believed to be stolen earrings. Officials transporting Mr. Glider to jail allegedly heard him say, "I should have thrown them out the window." CBS News, the BBC U.S. partner, reported. At the jail, Mr. Glider allegedly asked staff, "Am I going to be charged with what's in my stomach?" And the answer is, "Yeah, buddy." They had the X-ray, which I have in the thumbnail, and you can see the shiny thing, in his belly. I imagine around some doo-doo, it's soon to be doo-doo, right? Are the earrings, just nicely paired up with each other. The police later released an X-ray that appeared to show an individual's abdomen with a foreign object inside. Very shiny. Orlando Police Department said they took Mr. Glider to an area hospital and monitored him for about 2 weeks until the earrings were recovered, aka he passed them. On March 12th, police said they recovered the 4th Tiffany & Company earring. When the earrings were brought back to Tiffany's, the store master jeweler confirmed that the serial numbers on the jewelry matched the stolen pieces, Mr. Goss said. Now, this isn't his first time doing a robbery, Mr. Glider. Apparently, he has hit up Tiffany & Company before in 2022, and there are 48 separate warrants out for his arrest in Colorado. So, I mean, he is a prolific thief. And I guess he thought he could just use his ultimate, the old steal and swallow. And it didn't work this time. So, damn, they got him. They got him in the mix. Anyway, that'll be that for that. We can go ahead and move along. I just thought that was a tasty story. I couldn't resist. Our next story comes from, it's Yahoo, but I guess specifically Yahoo Creators. I really don't know what that means. Like, did a creator I guess a creator wrote this story. And they say what she creates. I don't really care. Sorry, I gotta be real. Anyway, tourists detained at U.S. airports prompt travel warning updates across Europe. In recent weeks, several European governments, including the United Kingdom, Denmark, and Finland have updated their travel advisories for citizens visiting the United States following a series of detentions involving European tourists at the U.S. ports of entry. These actions reflect growing concern over the consequences of U.S. immigration enforcement policies and highlight increasing uncertainty for international travelers, even those with valid documents. The detentions have sparked concern among the affected nations, human rights advocates, and immigration attorneys, who note that the discretionary power of customs and border protection officers at ports of entry can lead to unpredictable outcomes. Germany was among the first to revise its travel advisory after at least 3 German citizens were denied entry and detained upon arrival in the U.S., despite holding what they believed were appropriate travel documents. One German tourist was held in a U.S. immigration detention center for 16 days after re-entering the U.S. from Mexico. Another German citizen spent over 6 weeks in detention. Let's see, there's more details. We're going to skim past those. United Kingdom updated its travel advisory after several British citizens were reportedly detained under similar circumstances. In one case, a British woman was held for more than 10 days over concerns she may have breached visa conditions. UK officials emphasized that that U.S. immigration laws are strictly enforced, and even minor perceived violations can lead to detention or removal. Gonna skip ahead a little bit more. Moving past the UK to Denmark and Finland. Denmark and Finland issued targeted warnings for transgender individuals planning to travel to the U.S., citing specific risks tied to documentation and identity recognition. Travelers whose passports include a gender marker of X or who have recently changed gender markers are advised to contact the U.S. Embassy before traveling to clarify how border officials will interpret their documents. It's crazy that this is becoming more and more an issue. It shouldn't be surprising to me, but it is something that I didn't cover. But essentially, with U.S. citizens right now, if you are trans, they are making you like go by your actual gender, and if you take your passport, whatever, they will I think they potentially might doctor it or change it for that. Which is something that's really fucked up. It's really an annoying thing. It's even more annoying and crazy that we are doing this to, travelers who are coming to our country. Which just kind of goes to show how much of a draconian grip we really are as an administration, as a country now, trying to enforce this stricter borders. If you're not from here, then you're gonna get jammed up when you try to come to land of the free, home of the brave. God damn it! I guess it just seems so counterintuitive. When I initially read the headline, I don't know, I had it backwards. I thought it was other countries being like, hey, the U.S. is making things difficult. We're going to make things difficult for them. But no, they're essentially just saying, hey, guys, be aware if you're going to go to America, you're going to go to the U.S. I know it's been easy, breezy, beautiful, for you because, you're in a nice Western country. You're not in one of those quote unquote deplorable places like Mexico, or you're not a brown person. Essentially now it's like, no. We don't care where you're from. You're coming to the U.S. and we're going to fuck with you. Which is, once again, very stupid, very counterintuitive. It's not doing us any favors as Americans, but that is what our administration wants, and that is what I guess, customs and, protections or whatever are going to enforce to, quote-unquote, the best of their ability. So, yeah, it's an unfortunate change. It's an unfortunate trend that is developing, between the U.S. and, international borders and whatnot. I hope it doesn't get worse. I got some friends traveling soon, and I think actually the other day my friend made a joke about that kind of shit, and they were like, yeah, if I get stuck in the country I'm at, oops-a-daisy, I guess that's fine. I'm like, man, don't say that, bro. Don't say that. But hopefully not. We're knocking on all the wood. If you're traveling, hopefully, don't let this shit, stop you. You gotta do your thing. Don't let the fucking big old orange boogeyman fucking get in your way. Have your fun. Take your trip. Fuck it. Anyway, let's get down to some DNA in our next story from CNN. Genetic testing firm 23andMe files for bankruptcy. We got another bankruptcy on our hands. Oopsie. You went broke. 23 and broke. Anyway, gene testing firm 23andMe said on Sunday it had filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in order to facilitate its sale after years of struggling to find a sustainable business model. In a statement announcing the bankruptcy, the firm said its CEO, Ann Wojcicki, had resigned effective immediately. She will remain on the company's board of directors. After a thorough evaluation of strategic alternatives, we have determined that a court-supervised sale process is the best path forward to maximize the value of the business. Mark Jensen, chair and member of the special committee of the board of directors, said in a statement. Last year, the company said it was cutting about 40% of its workforce, around 200 employees, and discontinuing further development of all its therapies as part of a restructuring program, according to Reuters. In September, all 7 of the company's independent directors resigned en masse, citing their frustration with the CEO's strategic direction and efforts to take 23andMe private. The company, which went public in 2021, had never made a profit. The stock shot up following the listing, briefly valuing the company at $6 billion. Wojcicki, who owned 49% of the company, became a billionaire. In its core product, an at-home DNA testing kit offers personalized genetic insights that the company says can flag potential health risks, such as one's likelihood of developing Alzheimer's or certain cancers. 23andMe tried to convert one-time buyers into subscribers with the promise of continued feedback and personalized wellness plans, but had reportedly fallen short of its goals. I gotta say, I'm not too surprised to hear a company like 23andMe kind of goes belly up, because you really do have one shot with the customer. You know, they do the whole spit in a cup or whatever you do. You get this extensive loadout of your genetic background through your DNA, and like, ooh, cool, awesome, but that's it. Like, what do you mean subscribe? What feedback do I need? Like, I think I got it all here. I think this and some Google searching will probably cover the spread for me. You know what I mean? Also, it's not directly connected, but I was extremely turned off of this when I heard that police with the Golden State Killer use some sort of DNA tracing through familial ties to catch him. Now, I'm not alleging that 23andMe was responsible for that. They've come out and said, no, that wasn't us. But it just made me feel even more suspicious about it, because then I was like, oh, so is this the actual the use case for something like this? So that, you can jam up your cousin who's a murderer or something, or whatever the case. Like, it just made me even more weary. And plus, once again, this is something I said before. When it comes to my past, when it comes to my ancestry, I just don't give a shit. Like, I don't really give a damn. Like, I am an American. I'm an adopted American at that. I'm a black adopted American, if you're going to say the whole thing. Like, what is that? What is my family tree? What is my ancestry? I just don't give a shit. I'm in the melting pot. I am here. I am now. That's really all I give a shit personally. Now, if you want to know how Irish you are, or Greek, or whatever the hell, by all means, go off. Maybe not so much with 23andMe. In fact, I think that, you might want to go and maybe get that information deleted. Once again, not that they're going to do anything with it. I'm not alleging that. But, I wouldn't want that in someone else's hands. I'd want them to maybe get rid of that if that was an option, if that was possible. Delete my data. Delete my DNA. I'd want that. Thanos, snap it. Get it out of here. But yeah, I guess RIP, they are essentially trying to, with the Chapter 11, they are trying to find a buyer. Now, potentially they might have to hold the L if no one wants to buy 23andMe. Maybe that it might be like literally stripping it down, selling it for parts. I don't fucking know, but it looks like the end for 23andMe. So yeah, we'll leave that there. Now we have one more thing I wanted to cover. So let's go ahead and hop in our EV, pray don't blow up, and we'll go ahead and close this out. Huh? How does that sound? Anyway, let's take our last break, and we'll get to it. We'll shut this thing down. All right. Whew. From ABC News. FBI investigating after multiple incendiary devices found at Tesla dealerships in Tesla dealership in Texas. Sorry. Multiple incendiary devices were found at a Tesla dealership in Austin, Texas on Monday morning, according to the Austin Police Department. Officers located the suspicious devices after responding to a Tesla dealership on U.S. Route 183 just after 8 a.m. local time and called the Austin Police Department bomb squad to investigate, police said in a statement. The devices were determined to be incendiary and were taken to police custody without incident. The FBI said on Monday that a task force to address the incidents targeting Teslas have been established. The FBI will be relentless in its mission to protect the American people. Acts of violence, vandalism, and domestic terrorism, like the recent Tesla attacks, will be pursued with full force of the law, the FBI said in a statement to ABC. Austin Police said it is an ongoing investigation and no further information at the release at this time. No further information to release at this time. This leads me to believe that they haven't apprehended anybody about over this yet. So, I mean, you can say, hey, maybe silver lining, quote unquote, maybe. Don't get me wrong. Is this by definition actual domestic terrorism? Yeah. Okay, you got it for sure. Nail on the head. But the shit that, Elon Musk and Donald Trump were crying about, weeks ago or so, protesting outside of a Tesla, saying Tesla is bad, saying it's shitty, saying you don't want to buy a swastika car, that's not domestic terrorism. That's free speech. That's freedom of expression. Now, if you want to drop the bomb on a motherfucker, okay, that's when we're getting domestic. All right, that's fine. Me personally, though, I would much rather you get the skinhead Nazi fuckers out of here that are trying to, blow up Transformers and shit. We covered shit like that a year or two ago. Track those motherfuckers down. Prioritize those motherfuckers first. I don't give a shit about these shitty-ass fucking RC cars. I don't give a damn. That's me personally, though. I get it. I am not the will of the American people, nor will I speak for them. But at the same time, this is one of those things where I'm not personally like, oh my God, I'm so scared. I'm so worried about Tesla. What's going to happen? Is someone going to firebomb them again? Okay. No, you're not going to catch any sympathy from me on that part. Obviously, I don't want to see anyone working at a Tesla, blown up or anything like that. That would be sad. That would be bad. I'm not advocating that. I need to put that stipulation, that asterisk there, right here. Boop, boop, okay, cool, marked. But no, you're not going to catch me shedding any tears for Elon Musk. I just don't care. You know what I mean? Best of luck out there. If you wanted to do this, it is so crazy to me that he has taken it to this level where he's like, I'm going to push this agenda that I have. I don't care. It's not just about making money anymore. It's about sending a message for Elon Musk. And it's like, are you surprised that people have a response to that message that you're pushing, man? Okay. This feels very cause and effect for me. I don't know about y'all. But, I figured we leave it with that banger. And we'll call it a day. We'll call it a news episode. But yeah, if you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok, follow on the Spotify. You can catch me wherever. I'm on Apple for podcasters, whatever. Leave the 5 stars, leave a like, leave a cool comment. We appreciate those. Sharing is caring. It can be fun. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.